Hi guys, this is Rusty 78609 in Central Texas, USA, and I'm boondocking. It looks like it doesn't. Anyway, this is January the 23rd, 2018 at about 10:15 a.m. It's 48 probably top up degrees, a little cool. And anyway, I just thought I'd go out for a little drive this morning. No, I'm not too far from my home base. It's a little road that actually goes to a fish hatchery, but it'll lead into what I'm going to talk about, because what I'm going to talk about is going to be related to camping somewhat. This is a really rough little road, but for those of you that are boondocking or planning on going boondocking, get ready for this, okay, or dry camping, because this would be a very good road if you were boondocking. This would be considered paved. This would be great. But anyway, no, I'm just cruising down this road because it's a neat little area, and I've been here before. I used to come here years ago. I'll swap around here so you can see. That goes straight into a fish hatchery, and I'm off Park Road 4 in Central Texas, USA. And back over here is a huge oak tree. I hope the sun doesn't ruin the picture. But if you can see that, that is a huge oak tree. And I mean, it is older than dirt. But underneath, you see the little picnic table and a trash can. Well, I've lived up here for a long time, 25 years probably off and on. And, but years ago, when I got a little bored, I'd come here and set me some beer on that table and in the evenings and just chill out, because it was such a peaceful spot. No bugs, no nothing, but it is a neat little spot. But anyway, that's part of what I'm going to touch on. But so for those of you that are going boondocking, that road was an introduction, sort of. But I had a new subscriber ask a question about how to find spots to camp so he doesn't have to pay the $6 to $8 fees per day. And then he wanted to know, if there was any camping near Big Bend, Texas in the winter to go to and so forth. So I'll try to address some of those points, because it may be of interest to some of the others out there. But of course, on BLM, Bureau of Land Management, or public land, most of that is free camping without any fees at all. But of course, there's no facilities at all either. So it's a catch-22. You pay for nothing and you get nothing. And how do I find them? Well, you can go to the BLM websites. If you're in an area where the Bureau of Land Management has an office, you can go in and get maps. So that's one way. And then, of course, you've always got national forests. I'm not too fond of forests, but some people really like them. I'm not a fan, but, different strokes for different folks. But as far as paying the fees to Bureau of Land Management sites or public land sites, the only time you'll pay a fee there is if it's an improved site and has some facilities. If it does, then you'll probably have to pay a fee. If you're a senior citizen, you need to get the senior pass. Even though they've increased the charge quite a bit, it's still worth the money if you're going to be camping very much. So check into that too. Of course, one of the things I've used, and I'll say it again, is freecamping.net. And it's a good website. Gives you not only directions, but you can find locations by typing in the name of a city, and it'll give you the free camping in that area. And it'll also give you ratings of people who have been there. Sometimes they post pictures, sometimes they tell you what the cell phone service is like, and they're pretty good as long as they're not too outdated, because a lot of things can change. That road they went in on 5 years ago may not even be there now. All right, it may have gotten washed away and they just never repaired it. So if it's over 6 months or so old, that's about a 50-50 chance of everything being as they say it was. But that's all right. At least they tried. They gave you some information. The next thing you can do, of course, is watch videos. I'll tell you a guy that goes to some neat sites. He's got him an A-liner, I think is what it's called. And the name of his YouTube channel is Slim Potato Head. And I think he lives in Canada, but he travels into the U.S. quite a bit and goes to places out in Arizona, Nevada, and so forth. I don't think he goes much into New Mexico, but I've seen a lot of his videos in Utah. He's been in Utah. But he goes to some good sites, and so you can get some ideas from him. And he's pretty thorough in his reviews if he gives a review. His videos are always real good because he edits them real good. But again, that name is Slim Potato Head. Yeah, catchy name, huh? Not many people would duplicate that one. So and then the next thing you asked was about going out to the Big Bend National Park area of Texas, in far west Texas, near Alpine, Texas. And that is, I lived out there for a couple of years on the Terlingua Ranch, which is in the middle of nowhere. And the winters there can be pretty hard. I mean, it can get down freezing several days. That's on the Terlingua Ranch. Now, you're about 3,000 feet elevation on the Terlingua Ranch, just about anywhere, and maybe a little higher in some places because there are mountains in that area. But if you get down close to the Rio Grande River, it's pretty flat and low, and the temperature will be much nicer. But as far as finding boondocking sites in that area, might be a little difficult. Now, what you can do is go on to the Big Bend National Park, go into it, and pay the fee. And there are places there where you can dry camp. Now, they may have changed it, but there used to be several. And so, they're really remote, and they're not going to be too bad. But the closer you get to the Rio Grande River, the higher the temperature is going to be. But now, remember, you're out there. It's very remote. There are very few services, if any, in the little community of Studi Butte there. And there's a little ghost town called Terlingua, the Terlingua ghost town. But there's very few services there. They have a little grocery store, gas station in Studi Butte, but you're going to pay nine prices. But of course, out there, if you need it, you need it, you need it. Alpine's about 100 miles away, and so you don't want to be making many trips to that. As far as water, you can get water at Chisos Basin, which is a camping area, and you can also get it at the park headquarters, or you used to be able to. Now, whether you can or now or not, I don't know. But so that answers that question. Big Bend, would I want to go there in the winter to camp? Would I? Probably not, because it's I don't know, man. It's what it is. It's out in the middle of nowhere, and it's a long way to anywhere. You're a 3-hour drive to anything. And to get there is a long way. I mean, for me to drive from my home base in Central Texas and go to the Chisos Basin is an 8-hour drive, a good 8-hour drive. So that gives you an idea. Again, I live near Kingsland, Texas, but it's just a lot of driving out there. You got to allow a lot of time and you got to keep your gas tank topped off. When you see a gas station, be careful, don't pass it. But what else, as far as camping goes, I'm in the mood for sure. I'm just waiting for the temperature to move up a little bit. I live in a 2018 16-foot Coachman Clipper Cadet, and some of y'all may not know that, some of you new subscribers. And I have full-time RV'd I've lived in an RV for nearly 30 years, long time. I'm 72 years old, or young, depending on your point of view. In my point of view, it's old. I mean, I guarantee you, I know what it is. You don't have to beat me over the head with it. So anyway, but RVing's what it is, and of course boondocking, you get what you pay for. If you get a free campsite, sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. I mean, it's like winning the lottery, because everybody wants something for nothing, and most of the time you get nothing for nothing. But I don't mind paying a little bit now. I don't mind paying those $6 or $8 fees now, because again, I don't want to be out in the dust of the boondocking. I mean, I will do boondocking because I do enjoy it, just like everybody else, because if it's a good peaceful spot and there's not many people around. But I've got some places in mind that I've been to over the years that I'll go back to, and then I may expand my search a little bit this year. It depends on how everything goes. I mean, I'm going to be pulling an RV, a travel trailer again, and of course I'll be well aware of gasoline prices and how much gasoline costs me, because I have to try to keep that around $300 a month even when I'm traveling. And at about 12 to 13 miles a gallon, you burn a lot of fuel. But not as much as some of those motorhomes that are getting 6 and 8. But anyway, this is a pretty area of Texas. Again, this is Park Road 4, and we're going every direction in the world because we're winding through the hills. But mainly we would almost be going north. But we come up here on Highway 29. I'm going to take a right and head towards Burnett because I want to go by and look at those little RVs at that dealership and see if I can't come up with something there. But it's getting close to going RVing. I mean, there was an RV show in Austin, Texas this past weekend. I wasn't aware of it. They didn't send me an invitation. How rude. But they didn't. But would I have gone? I might have gone on Friday. I can't remember what the weather was then Friday. But if the weather's nice, I'm a fair weather RVer and a fair weather going to RV showers. But there is another one coming up in February. I'm not sure, in Austin at the convention center. I may check it out. But anyway, I'm just cruising now. It's 9 miles to Burnett, Texas. And we'll cruise down there going about 50 miles an hour, even though the speed limit's 65. There's not a whole lot of traffic on this road. This is Highway 29. Goes east and west. This goes to Georgetown, Texas. If you go east, if you go west, it goes through Llano, and let's see, where else does it go? I don't know. There are points west. But it's a beautiful day. I'm telling you, the weather has been nice, and it will be nice for probably from now on out until we get to the spring, because I looked at the 10-day forecast. Even though after 3 days it's not very accurate, it looks really good. We're going to be in the mid-60s and probably what I had this morning, upper 20s for that period of time. That sign indicates that the right lane is closed ahead. Don't they know who I am? Have they no couth? That means there's some road destruction up here. First they destroy it and then they rebuild it. I like Central Texas. This is pretty. I like these rolling hills. I like the granite rocks. I like the fact that there's the Colorado River, the Llano River, and the fact that there are a number of lakes. This is the Highland Lakes area of Central Texas. And I live near Lake Buchanan, Inks Lake, and Lake LBJ, all formed by the Colorado River, which is a major river in Texas, not to be confused with the Colorado River in Colorado, which goes west. I'm not sure where the headwaters of the Colorado River are in Texas. I'm not sure. The Guadalupe River is another major river, and its headwaters are just north of Kerrville, Texas, near Hunt, Texas. I've actually been there. Well, the right lane is closed, but my question is why? Because of those guys way back there? They closed 12 miles of road to look at a tree, you think? No, they didn't. There's some more up here. Okay, makes sense. Look at all the lonely people, hoping that life don't pass them by. Ain't it the truth? Most people live lives of quiet desperation. Too true, too true. I try not to, but I'm a human being. I can't remember. That song was done by the Beatles, I think. Look at all the lonely people. That was great. They came up with some great lyrics. They really did. La da 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 da. But on and on it goes. We're winding through the hills of Central Texas, going to Burnett. I'm about, probably 15 miles from my home base. Yeah, it's a crazy thing. Once you set your mind to something, sometimes it happens, because I used to come up here in the 70s, the early 70s, occasionally, and I used to bring my then young brides up here, and they hated it, I think. But I loved it, and I said it many times. I said, I sure would like to live up here. And when I got free and got my chance, well, here I came like a little magnet, and I enjoy it. I really do. It's not much. There's a little RV park there off to the right, kind of a rough one, but he makes a lot of money. The guy that started that, I didn't think he'd ever get anybody in there because it looked so poor, but it's packed now, and he's actually added on. I got a DPS car coming up behind me, a Department of Public Safety highway patrolman coming up behind me. And those guys are pretty well trained. The ones that are out on the road, for sure. They used to go in pairs, but now they rarely do. They're mostly out by themselves, and you got to give a guy credit riding around, even though he's got a lot of armament, to pull somebody over who's drunk, going speeding. It takes, you got to have a little courage. A state trooper. Yeah, being a policeman, a lot of people can give police officers a hard time, and I have too. I've done it in my life. But, today I give them a lot of respect. Of course, that's just because I've gotten older and I understand they're doing their job. Some of them get out of line. Some of them can be, just like everybody else. Every group has its issues. But, they're in harm's way, man. I mean, how about going to a family dispute in the wrong neighborhood, huh? Would you do it? No. And they got to wear that vest, that bulletproof vest, all day long, and they are not comfortable, I promise you. They are not. They are hot. Now, they've probably improved them 10 times since I wore one, but they're a little heavy and they're hot. But anyway, I'm supposed to try to eliminate that from my vocabulary, and I haven't been very successful. Well, what it is since I don't edit my videos and I pause, in order to fill that blank spot, I use that word, okay? I just throw that in till my gears catch and I get rolling again. I'll end this video up here in a little bit before we get to burn it, but it is a pretty drive if you like winding around through the Texas hills. There's some places out here to the left. There's one out there called Canyon of the Eagles. It's a park that was built by the Lower Colorado River Authority. It's on the Colorado River, and it's really a nice little resort. They have a motel there, a nice restaurant, and RV park. They have an RV park there. None of it's cheap, but it is nice. It is gated, and if you want to stay at a nice place in your RV, check out. In Texas, you can stay at LCRA, Lower Colorado River Authority Parks. You just have to contact them and find out where their RV parks are. And if they're open and all the other stuff. I got a friend of mine that lives off to the left here. It's called Eagle's Nest. It's a nice, very nice gated community. I played golf with him for years. I still get email from him. We used to get together and have lunch every now and then, but we haven't done that in quite a while. Like everything else, and we just fade away, Am I fading? Yeah, I guess I am, but I want to enjoy the last bit of the fade, so to speak. Gasoline here at this particular gas station is $225.9, but as you get closer into Burnett, and in Burnett it'll drop about, 8 cents a gallon. They've tried everything in that building there and nothing has worked. It's location in real estate, and apparently that's a bad location. because nothing has survived there very long. This is the little town of Burnett, Texas. I'm not sure. I think the population is around 5,000 in that range. And the biggest thing here is high school football. Like most Texas small towns, high school football is it. Even Texas big towns. In fact, in Liberty Hill, Texas, they've got a stadium there that looks like it's from a university. But, you know, they don't have any books for their science department, but they got a good football stadium. I don't know that. I just said that. But I know we do put a lot of money into sports. Oh, goodness. They get the taxpayer to build the stadium. And then the football players make millions and complain. Can't figure that one out. Well, guys, this is Rusty78609. I'll end this video, but for those of you that are using the Amazon link, I appreciate it. But anyway, thumbs up to you. Carpe diem, adios, bye-bye, buy anything you want. But if you think about it, use the link to Amazon products in the description of my videos. I appreciate it. Doesn't cost you a dime. What else? Drink plenty of water. 3 or 4 quarts a day will not hurt you. In fact, it's good for you. It'll help you avoid gout, kidney stones, and what else? It'll help you lose weight because you'll be full of water. And what else? Take deep breaths. Breathe in deeply, hold it a few seconds, and then breathe out. Why? Because that will help you relieve stress, and relieving stress lowers your blood pressure. And you know that's good for you. And what else? Stretch, walk. I've already done that this morning. I feel pretty good. And so life is good here where I am now. But anyway, guys, from Central Texas, USA, kind of going into the sunlight and can't help it. Y'all have a great day. Enjoy your Tuesday, and we'll talk again soon. Adios, amigos. Bye-bye.